You're watching the Explosive Exclusive with me, Rahul Shivshankar, and as always, viewers, we have a massive news break for you. No one investigates like Times Now, and we are unraveling the entire story behind the Jodhpur clashes. 2 days of violence, tensions are palpable in Jodhpur. There have been arrests made. There was a futile attempt at imposing a curfew that was somehow violated. And today, viewers, the Chief Minister of the state of Rajasthan, Mr. Gehlot, comes out and says some rather strange things. He says, viewers, that they've done a fantastic job, his state administration. Karauli, barely anything happened. Rajgarh, nothing much. And Jodhpur, he goes on to say, viewers, was easily contained. We were alert. Our administration was on top of the entire conflagration. Viewers, of course, we know that this is not quite the case. In Karauli, we saw rioting, unparalleled nature, which went on despite the presence of the police. In Rajgarh too, and in Jodhpur, 2 bouts of rioting. One after curfew and one much before, when the entire administration was caught napping and was overwhelmed. Viewers, Mr. Gehlot's bizarre logic is this: if there are no deaths, then there is no danga, there are no riots. This is a ridiculous, bizarre logic. Very bizarre. Is it the Chief Minister's case that people must die for his administration to wake up? For this to be categorized as a riot? First, listen to what the Chief Minister says, viewers.
करौली में घटना हुई 1-1.5 घंटे बाद में सब शांति हो गई। पूरे देश के अंदर मीडिया भी चला रहा है करौली को लेकर के। रामगढ़ की घटना इनकी खुद की हुई है, चल रही है कांग्रेस को बदनाम करने के लिए। जोधपुर की घटना में कल तमाम केंद्रीय मंत्री और जो पूर्व मंत्री सब उतर गए। ऊपर से कहा गया है, हमारे पास इंफॉर्मेशन है, जो सुनते आते हैं कि किस प्रकार इनको मैसेज आते हैं कि आपको किस प्रकार से कैंपेन चलाना है खिलाफ में।
Campaign. He calls it a campaign. Even the media's focus, he dismisses it as a campaign. So we've done a fact check for the Congress party, for the Gehlots in the Congress party and the Gandhis in the Congress party that are busy patting themselves on the back. No deaths, so no big deal, Mr. Gehlot. One wonders what you would tell the family of Mukul, whose bones have been shattered, or Dinesh, whose brother's bike was set on fire and he himself is battling 30 to 40% burns in hospital. He's not even able to speak. Or the little girls, the little children who lie injured and traumatized. We spoke to those that know these people intimately. As I told you, some of them aren't able to even talk, these victims of this frightful riot. Listen to this.
ये आज सुबह गया था, अपनी सिस्टर के यहाँ जा रहा था, उस दौरान ये चीज़ हुई।
क्या हुआ था बेसिकली?
ये बेसिकली जालोरी गेट से घोड़े के चौक की तरफ जा रहा था, दूध के चौटे के पास ये खड़ा हुआ, वहाँ पे कुछ उपद्रवी लड़ाई कर रहे थे, तो इसने बाइक रख के साइड में खड़ा हुआ था, नहीं तो किसी ने बाइक में आग लगा दी, किसी बाइक में, उस बाइक में आग लगाई, पास में खड़े किसी ने पेट्रोल टैंक खोल दिया, तो उसमें आग की चपेट में ही आ गया।
क्या करते हैं अमित?
ये इंजीनियर हैं।
ये बहुत ही मतलब इसको समझ पाना बहुत ही मुश्किल है कि झगड़ा होता है, कोई लड़ाई होती है, कोई लड़ाई होती भी नहीं है, बातचीत होती है, उस बातचीत के बीच में विद इन 2 or 3 minutes हाउ इज इट पॉसिबल टू मैनेज दीज थिंग्स, कि कैसे इतने बड़े बड़े डंडे और पथराव के लिए नुकीले पत्थर कहाँ से कलेक्ट कर लिए जाते हैं और अटैक कर दिया जाता है, ये हमारी समझ के बाहर है। क्योंकि हम लोग कोई प्लानिंग से गए नहीं थे, हम लोग जनरल कन्वर्सेशन कर रहे थे, वो भी पुलिस प्रशासन के साथ में, और एकदम से एक साथ में इतने सारे लोग आ जाना, इतने डंडे और एक साथ में पाइप डंडे लेके आना और एक साथ में इतने नुकीले पत्थरों से पथराव करना, ये हमारी समझ के बाहर है। ये क्रोनोलॉजी समझना बहुत मुश्किल है कि लोग चाह क्या रहे हैं। ये पहले से झगड़ा करने की प्लानिंग करके आते हैं, इनके मन में ऐसा कुछ होता है, ये क्या प्लानिंग करके इस तरह से लड़ाइयाँ करते हैं, ये समझ पाना बहुत मुश्किल है।
Viewers, these are some stark testimonies that we have got on our camera. Would Mr. Gehlot, the Chief Minister of Rajasthan, the Congress party, the Gandhis who run it, say that because these people are still alive, that because they're not dead, they were not the victims of a riot, and that this does not really matter, doesn't make a big difference to anyone? Viewers, if he doesn't believe these victims, if the entire Congress ecosystem doesn't want to accept the reality, then at least watch and hear this cleric's stunning admission on camera, where he says that yes, we rioted and we did not even spare little children. Listen to this.
इसलिए मैं माफ़ी चाहता हूं। मैंने हमारे जो दूसरे भाई आए थे दूसरी पार्टी के, उनसे भी मैंने अपील की और दरख्वास्त की कि अगर किसी जानिब से, मेरे पास रिपोर्टिंग मुख्तलिफ है कि लोगों को दुकान पे बच्चा दही लेने गया, उसकी कमर तोड़ दी, उसकी गाड़ी जला दी। मैंने कहा अभी गलती एक करती है, पूरी कौम की गलती नहीं, आप उसको माफ़ करो। तो गलती किसी की जानिब से हो, बहरहाल मुझे इसका अफसोस है, आइंदे गलती ना हो इसकी हमें अहद व पैमान करना चाहिए। हमारे एक अरबी की मिसाल है, मज़ा मा मज़ा, जो गया वो गया। आइंदे से हमें मेल मोहब्बत के साथ जीने का अहद करना चाहिए।
Now viewers, I want to go straight across to an eyewitness. Let's play out what the eyewitness told us. Yes, viewers, even young children were not spared, but perhaps it is not significant enough for the Chief Minister to take note or worry about them. Here is another testimony of a child coming under attack.
बच्ची पर भी अटैक कर रहे थे।
अटैक कर रहे थे, वो इतनी डरी हुई थी, जोरदार हालांकि बचाया है, दूध वाला हम दोनों मिलने के बचाया बच्चे को। वो अंदर भी बन गया, तो अंदर से डर लगने लगी,
उसने पीछे से वार
भी किया
पीछे पे आपको मैंने बताया था, तो उस दूध वाले बच्चे ने बचाया था। बच्ची कितनी डरी हुई है, आप देखो कितनी भयंकर डरी हुई है। अभी हाँ, मेरा माननीय श्री मुख्यमंत्री जी से अनुरोध है कि इस एटमॉस्फेयर को जल्दी से जल्दी सही करें, क्योंकि जोधपुर के लिए ये बड़ा काला धब्बा है।
Is this still not a riot? Mr. Gehlot, Chief Minister of Rajasthan, is this still not enough evidence for you? Well, if it is not, then at least believe what has happened with your own police. We're going to break something for you now, viewers. I'm going to show you footage of police standing and looking on as rioters seemed armed with sticks rush past them. The police leave the spot. They do nothing. Emboldened, the mob then comes and beats up the police personnel standing there, and it's all captured. It's all captured. Watch this.
जोधपुर हिंसा मामले में लगातार लगातार नए सीसीटीवी कैमरे की फुटेज सामने आ रही जिसमें कई चीजें जो हैं वो देखने को मिल रही हैं। इस वक्त हम आपको एक और सीसीटीवी कैमरे की फुटेज दिखाएंगे और समझाएंगे किस तरीके से हिंसा जो है वो जब भड़की और क्या कुछ हुआ। ये फुटेज जो है वो पूरा मोहल्ला इलाके की है। तस्वीरों में आप देख सकते हैं भीड़ है। यहाँ पर आपको पुलिसकर्मी दिखाई देंगे। ये तमाम पुलिसकर्मी यहाँ पे मौजूद हैं और भीड़ यहाँ से गुजर रही है। एक सबसे चौंकाने वाली बात यह है कि ये तमाम पुलिसकर्मी आप देखिए कि आपस में बात कर रहे हैं, भीड़ जा रही है और जो भीड़ जा रही है उनके हाथों में बाकायदा ये देखिए डंडे हैं, लाठियां हैं और बाकायदा ये डंडे लाठियां जो हैं वो दिखाते हुए और पुलिस जो है वो मुख्य दर्शक यहाँ पर बनी हुई है। यहाँ पे 2-3 पुलिसकर्मी दिखाई दे रहे हैं जो कि देख रहे हैं और ये तस्वीरें आप देख रहे हैं। यहाँ से दरअसल चंद कदमों की दूरी पर ही हिंसा हुई थी और यहीं से जो उपद्रवी थे वो निकले थे। अब पुलिसकर्मी यहाँ से चले गए, लेकिन ये देखिए एक जो सिविल ड्रेस में पुलिसकर्मी बताया जा रहा है, जिस शख्स को ये लोग पीट रहे हैं ये दरअसल एक पुलिसकर्मी है जो कि सिविल ड्रेस में। इस सिविल ड्रेस में जो पुलिसकर्मी इसने इन्हें रोकने की कोशिश की तो ये उपद्रवी जो हैं उस पर टूट पड़े, उसकी पिटाई करने लगे। हालांकि कुछ लोग जो है छुड़ाकर उधर ले जा रहे हैं, लेकिन जो डंडे थे, जो लाठी थी इस पुलिसकर्मी के हाथ में, उसे भी छीन लेते। हालांकि थोड़ी देर बाद दे दिया जाता है।
Well, let me go straight across to Priya Behel because what we've seen, Priya, is not only inaction on the part of the police, but also the police being targeted.
Why will this not happen? Because the chief minister of the state comes out and says, my police did an excellent job. We never let any of the situations, whether it was Karauli, whether it was Jodhpur, escalate further. But why is that wrong on multiple counts? Because we saw in Karauli, Times Now's SIT had exposed one after the other at least 7 videos where you saw that policemen were standing, watching on even as armed mob ran riot in Karauli. 1 month later, Rahul and Matloob, Mushtaq, several others that Times Now could spot on videos have not been arrested. Most of them have not even been named in the FIRs that were filed by the police, and now 1 month on, no lessons have been learned. Same thing happens again. The police again found wanting in action. What they did not do in the first place was to, they should have preempted this situation because the tempers were afraid. They should have got local intelligence. They should have not allowed the first round of clashes that took place on the 2nd of May to take place. Not just that, what happened on the night of May 2 over hoisting of a flag happened. 12 hours after that, there was no curfew, there were no prohibitory orders. Again, emboldening the mob that ran riot on the streets. And despite all that, again, the latest video that you see on your screen shows that the cops were just standing and watching and getting beaten up. And after that, the chief minister of the state, instead of finding flaws and accountability, says we did a good job. So why would they improve on what they have done now for later?
Absolutely. And the question therefore is, on what basis is Mr. Gehlot giving himself this glowing clean chit and suggesting that there is nothing really happening? It's all a media and BJP conspiracy to malign Rajasthan. Now, viewers, we decided therefore to go behind the scenes and undercover. And we decided to, on candid camera, interview some of the officials, the revenue department officials who are close to the investigations. We investigated traffic policemen who were there on duty in that particular area near the Jalori gate. We also went out there and talked to individuals who are going to be eyewitnesses in this matter before they turn turtle. Now, here are what they have said to us. Listen to this, viewers. It will shock you.
मेरा तो ये मानना है कि कुछ न कुछ चूक जरूर है भाई। जब एक जगह हुआ तो फिर उसको
चूक हुई है। चूक बोलो या छूट भी बोल दो।
छूट, हाँ
छूट भी बोलो।
अगर छूट ना होती तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि अगर छूट ना होती तो ऐसा होता। अरे पत्थर देखिए, मुझे तो सिर्फ पत्थर का वो आ रहा है।
सब पत्थर वत्थर रखे हुए हैं इनके। और जाओ ना अंदर गली में, ये पूरा इनका मोहल्ला खिलावटों के पास मुस्लिमों का है, ये सुना रहा हूँ। देखिए आ जाओ।
तो पुलिस थी, आगे पुलिस कम थी। जैसे हम ट्रैफिक रोशन करनी, वहाँ इन्हें तोड़ फोड़ करना, इधर पे सिटी में घुस गए, वो सिटी में बहुत तोड़ फोड़ की है, किसी को बात लड़की भी एक जगह लगी है, ज्यादा नुकसान किया, सिटी में लूट भी की दुकानों से, वहाँ भी गए, दुकान में तोड़ फोड़ की, फिर वहाँ इन्हें बनबर्जी की। क्यों? वहाँ पुलिस की कमी रही। वहाँ यदि टुकड़ों में पुलिस होती ना, इनकी हिम्मत नहीं होती। है
क्या इंस्ट्रक्शन आप लोग बोले तो आपके पास नहीं होगा, इंस्ट्रक्शन थे काम करने का?
बिल्कुल, पुलिस तो अपना यहाँ तो काम पुलिस पंगा कर रहे, तो ये करेंगे तो शांत कर दिया, आगे जो निकले नहीं है, आगे ये पंगा कर दिया। यहाँ से निकलने के बाद शहर में घुस गए वो, और शहर में तोड़ फोड़ चालू कर दी उन्होंने।
Priyank Tripathi now joins us. Priyank, you've been, of course, conducting these investigations in Jodhpur. The truth is bared. The truth is that there was perhaps even a pre-planned conspiracy to ruin the peace. Priyank.
Yes, certainly, Rahul, and this started when the other side saw that there were few flags which were put in at this roundabout, which became the center of all the controversy. Later to that, there were a group of individuals who came out and they put the flag and defaced the national flag, and they did not stop there because the manner in which these violence happened, there were, similar kind of stones which were thrown from all the corners of this particular roundabout, from all these 4 roads which are joining the roundabout. We saw that similar kind of stones were hurled. That means that these stones were provided earlier. And what the locals are and the local intel guys who were working as an informer to the local police have also told it to Times Now that they could only identify 10 to 15 people when a local journalist was spotted filming this. He was also beaten up, and the suspect did not stop there. They called for more people who moved towards that direction, and most of these people were unable to be identified by the local intel guys who have been staying in this area since long time period. We are not talking about a big city, Rahul. We are talking about Jodhpur, which has limited population. Most of the people know each other, and not even that, those individuals who are on streets or the chai ki tapri or the thadi, what they call in the local language, they have been witnessing and observing each other. So any new individual who's coming to the city will be certainly observed by these individuals. But what happened on the writing day? Certainly there were around 200 people who came from outside. What the locals were telling us that they were very heavily built up. So there was a much bigger sinister plot. And it's been more than 24 hours, Rahul. And yesterday also I spoke to the ADG Law and Order. They were also not aware about that who are these individuals who are part of the larger conspiracy. And they are yet to know that who was the key conspirator. And today in the evening we actually got to know that why the local police was talking that tone, because the CM himself feels that this was not a riot, it was clash in between two group of individuals. And certainly 15 FIRs, Rahul, 133 people arrested so far. Still the CM feels that this was not an incident of rioting. Their own men have been injured, men in uniform, as well as the individuals like minors and women and men from both the sides have been injured. More than 25 people have surfaced injuries with these kind of pelting. Bikes have been burned, cars have been burned, 15 FIRs, 133 others. CM still feels that this is not an incident of rioting. God only knows that what is this definition to actually...
I don't know, a fact check, meticulous fact check. Thanks, Priya. Thanks, Priyank. Meticulous fact check by Times Now. Nothing left to the imagination, viewers. We've exposed it, and I want to open this up, and I want to go across to Meeta Chakrabarti, Raki Rathore, and Ajit Datta. Ms. Chakrabarti, what compulsion prevents the Chief Minister, Mr. Gehlot, the Congress, the Gandhis from accepting the truth? What compulsion makes him and the party deny that nothing major happened? Is it vote bank politics? What is holding him back? Fundamental question.
Okay, good afternoon to all your viewers, and please do not interrupt while I'm trying to make a very few quick points. I'll come to your query in a bit, but my starting point is we all know which political organization benefits the most from a situation of communal disharmony in this country. It's certainly not the Gehlot administration in the state of Rajasthan. That's number one. Number two, We are seeing different isolated incidents of violence, of communal tension in different parts of India, which is very, very unfortunate, which is actually diverting all our attention from issues that should really, really matter. Issues of unemployment, issues of inflation, issues of social justice. We are actually seeing a growing communal tension suddenly built in India, and this narrative of Hindu-Muslim divide all the time. That's all we are debating these days. Number 3, coming back to the Gehlot administration, I have always maintained that the state is responsible for law and order. Yes, there had been, as you correctly pointed out, that there had been 133 people who had been arrested. And there had been efforts that had been, the security levels had been increased. So I believe that Gehlot administration is doing everything possible in order to maintain law and harmony in the state of Rajasthan. You have to give them time. You have to give them the platform to do the right messaging so that communal harmony can be maintained and law and order can be restored in the state of Rajasthan.
Okay, well, one quick way of establishing lasting communal harmony is by punishing those that are rioting. Now, viewers, let me give you a shocking statistic. It's been almost a month since the Karauli riots. A man called Matloob, who is a Congress ally, ran through the streets, virtually escorted by the police, participating in a riot. Of course, the Chief Minister will say that was not a riot. I'm not getting into the semantics here, viewers, but the fact is that person on your screens is still on the run in the state of Rajasthan. And we are talking about maintaining communal harmony. You maintain communal harmony by imposing a watertight curfew so that there is no recurrence. In Jodhpur, viewers, an incident takes place on Eid night, right around the time when prayers are being offered over a flag. And exactly 11 hours later, after prayers on Eid day, viewers, there is more rioting. This time with drastic consequences for those caught up in them. How does that happen? If the state administration is serious about cracking down and making an example of individuals, and to paraphrase Ms. Chakravarti, interested in communal harmony, maintaining communal harmony. But that doesn't happen, viewers. It doesn't. I can give you more instances. The Chhabra riot accused, viewers, are called for an iftar party at the Chief Minister, Mr. Gehlot's house. Now, if you remember, viewers, the Congress party made, and very correctly so, the opposition made a big deal of when lynching accused a few years ago were invited and felicitated by a union NDA minister. They made a big deal. Today, they're justifying the presence of these accused at the Gehlot iftar party. And you know what they call it? They call it positive discrimination. That is what a leading Congress spokesperson said yesterday on national TV, believe it or not. Nonetheless, I want to bring in Meeta Chakravarti to respond to Rakhi Rathore. She says, Rakhi Rathore to respond to Meeta Chakravarti. Meeta Chakravarti says, we all know which political outfit benefits the most. There have been different isolated incidents to divert the nation's attention from the main issues. How do you respond to that, Ms. Rathore?
Look, Rahul, riots are always consequences of appeasement politics by a ruling party. If the ruling party is going to support a particular set of people, then these incidents will happen in every state and every area. And this is what's happening in Rajasthan. From last 1 month, we have seen the incidents of Karauli. And the most serious point is that in the presence of police, all these things are happening. Ms. Meera, I just want to know that what the police was doing when in Karauli, in presence of police, the stones were pelted on a Hindu rally. Again, the violence was allowed to happen yesterday at 11 a.m. And because there was a permission from the state government, there was a permission from Gehlot. And look, Rahul, instead of taking a stake stock of the damages caused to the Jodhpur people, he found it more important to visit Udaipur for the preparation of that Chintan Shivar. You look how sensitive he is about the people of Jodhpur, which happens to be hometown of Chief Minister. So if Chief Minister is giving those casual approach to these kind of incidents, these kinds of incidents will keep on happening in Rajasthan. That is what happening in here. Without discrimination, you have to take action on culprit with heavy hand, and this is the need of the hour in Rajasthan. In that way only we will be able to stop these incidences. Don't go into politics of these things, and these testimony and these videos are proof of the law and order conditions, how they are maintaining the government, how they are maintaining the law and order condition in Rajasthan.
So you're saying there is no attempt here. It's a jo hua so hua, chalo chalo bhag jao kind of approach.
Exactly,
okay?
exactly.
Let me bring in. We've heard two sides now, viewers. We've heard two sides. I want to bring in Ajit Datta. Ajit Datta, where do you step in? What do you see? You're a political analyst. What's going on?
Good evening, Rahul, and thank you for having me. Firstly, I really want to congratulate you because what you have brought out from this investigation is amazing. Now, this might be fantastic journalism, but what you have actually shown through this is horrific. It's completely horrific because what this brings out is that the rioters went after children. There are, and there's this massive attempt from the administration side on the behalf of the administration to cover it up. That is what we are getting to hear from the topmost person in the administration. This is a complete cover-up attempt. Now, what your investigation has actually shown is that whatever is said from the top, from the administration, the ground realities are very different from whatever has been told. Because these are eyewitnesses who have spoken with you, you have victims who have spoken with you, and you have law enforcement officials, you have clerics, everybody has confirmed that there is something majorly wrong that took place over there. There were riots that took place. The police was left standing there. This is something that even your CCTV cameras have confirmed. And now this is, and it's completely unfortunate that what the administration is essentially trying to say is that nothing really happened there. It was solved within 2 hours. There are a lot of questions that the administration needs to answer. I also want to respond to the first panelist, because the first panelist raised this point that, the Gehlot government does not benefit from it, etc. But the fact of the matter is that the buck finally stops at the state government. This is a law and order issue. I mean, you can, of course, if you want to blame X, Y, and Z for this, but the fact of the matter is that the buck always stops with the state government when it comes to law enforcement. You don't have this happening in many other states.
Well, the point is, and viewers, I need to take a quick break. We need to move on. Big stories coming up. Impact on EMIs, impact on your savings. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But I just want to quickly put into perspective what you've just seen. There is a denial, an attempt at denying, playing down what we witnessed. These are riots, viewers. You don't need to have a string of dead bodies to establish the fact that there was rioting. The question now is action. What action will be taken to serve as a deterrent? And if it isn't, why?